Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. Today I have some more Goosebumps news for you. A lot of people who are joined in Facebook groups and all that on Facebook, like myself, you've probably seen some of the posts people were talking about recently. This past week, I think is what it was. I think this particular post I'm looking at was posted on Wednesday. This was news that was announced, not really announced per se, but it was something that R.L. Stine himself, the writer of Goosebumps, answered, and a lot of people were freaking out over this. I think it's interesting, but as somebody who's also a big movie buff and a person that stays pretty active in the film community on YouTube and IMDb and all that, it doesn't really do much for me. For anybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, basically R.L. Stine, I guess, was doing a Q&A on Twitter or something, or he was just kind of answering fan questions, because he'll answer you. If you send him things on Twitter, he will respond. He's responded to me before when I called him. This made me laugh, because I still think, in some possible way, that I might be responsible for the Stephen King thing from the first Goosebumps film, but the references of Stephen King and R.L. Stine being the same kind of actor and writer and all that. I sent R.L. Stine many years ago, like probably 8 years ago, a message on Twitter when I first got my first Twitter account, and I told him that he was the Stephen King of my childhood. And he's very nice, and he said thank you and everything, but after seeing the film, even though I think R.L. Stine's a nice guy in real life from what I can tell, I think that he's probably heard that so many times that he's tired of hearing it, and I still think in some way, I was responsible for that Goosebumps thing with The Shining when they had the play at the high school. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I just thought I'd bring that up. R.L. Stine was doing some kind of Q&A on Twitter, and somebody named John Squires asked him, "What would you like to see next from the Goosebumps franchise in the world of film/television?" R.L. Stine did respond to this person. He said, "I've heard rumors of very exciting Goosebumps news, but I'm not allowed to talk about it." And again, there's been rumors about Goosebumps 3 coming out possibly in like 2024. I've seen some people on Facebook making jokes how they're going to be old and I'm going to be dead, you know, stuff like that. I hope we don't have to wait till 2024 for a Goosebumps 3, but I also don't think Goosebumps 3 needs to happen the way they're wanting it to happen, with another Jack Black performance, and as much as I would like that, I don't think it needs to happen that way. I think we should go back to what I talked about in my previous video a long time ago, about will we ever get Goosebumps 3, I think we should just go back to doing a stop-motion animation kind of Corpse Bride, you know, Nightmare Before Christmas type thing. I would prefer to go with that route. I think it'd be better for Goosebumps. You could be kind of scary, but not too scary. You could have kind of elements with musical and whatnot that could do really well there. And having that gothic theme, again, that Nightmare Before Christmas has, could work really well for this, especially if you had Tim Burton making it. Goosebumps by Tim Burton would be fantastic. I would love to see that. I know a lot of people aren't Tim Burton fans anymore, but I would be stoked to see that, honestly, especially if he was doing it now. So it might be Goosebumps 3, it might be a TV series adaptation from Netflix like every freaking person on this planet wants, and I'm like the only person that's against that because I don't want social justice politics and Goosebumps, and that's what will happen if Netflix gets their hands on it. You mark my words. It'll happen just like these comic books that are coming out from IDW that I reviewed. They're trash. They're real trash, and I would be nervous if Netflix got their hands on this. I would feel exactly the way about this that a lot of people felt about Disney getting their hands on Star Wars. It would feel the same way for me. It possibly worse because it's Netflix. At least Disney sometimes doesn't make things political. Sometimes. They did with Star Wars, but with this, it'd be political almost immediately. I'd guarantee it. So, I don't know what's going to happen here, but again, I see rumors pop up all the time. You could make a rumor for anything out there. You could say that that Liam Neeson's going to come back and play Qui-Gon Jinn in a standalone Star Wars film. You could say it all you want. It's probably been talked about in the past, honestly. Like in the past, developing a Star Wars storyline thing. You've probably already brought up something that they've already thought about doing in Hollywood. It's probably not going to happen, more than likely. Now, like I said, just because R.L. Stine hears about something is going to happen, potentially with movie or television for Goosebumps, does not mean that it's going to officially be just worked on immediately and released here soon. That's not what that means. If you're a fan of things like Nightmare on Elm Street, or Friday the 13th, or Halloween, Child's Play, any of these franchises that I love so much, especially Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, just a few years ago, not even like 3 years ago, we were supposed to have a new remake of Friday the 13th, and it could have been great. It could have been really cool with that Jason Voorhees film. I thought they had a really cool concept for how they were going to go with this new reboot, remake thing. I was really stoked, and I wish we had gotten it. I think they lost the rights. I think it went back to Sean Cunningham, the original creator of Friday the 13th, I believe is what happened. Basically, they shut down the whole production. They talked about making that particular film for a long time to maintain the rights of that movie franchise, and they did not, because of the 2009 film that did not do well, which I enjoyed, but still, I think that there's a chance that Goosebumps might not be having anything done to it. It's always a chance, but there is also a chance that something good could be happening here. I wouldn't hold my breath if I were you guys. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to pop anybody's bubble, but don't get your hopes up, because Hollywood does this all the time. If they think there's any way to make any kind of money out of something, they'll keep talking about it. There's 3, count them, 3 sequel/remakes of Cabin Fever, okay? There's the 2 sequels, and then there's the remake that's made by Eli Roth, even. Do not underestimate how stupid Hollywood can be. Just because something's going to be made, too, does not mean it's going to be good either. It could easily be trash, like I said with the Netflix Goosebumps idea. So don't hold your breath over this news, but I'm just making a video in general that we do have some Goosebumps news, that there may or may not be a new movie or a TV show or something being made for Goosebumps right now. I don't really care, honestly. It would be nice, but if it's going to be like the Sony films, it's not really Goosebumps because it's not really scary, even though I love both of the films for the most part. It's not scary, so it's not really Goosebumps per se. If it's going to be a reboot of the old TV show, it's going to be hard to recreate the 90s nostalgic cheese of that show that makes it so special. You can't really do it in 2020. If they try to make it straight up scary, parents are going to complain, it's going to make them mad, it's going to be a whole mess there. You can't please anybody. You physically can't. So you might as well just give up on trying to adapt Goosebumps for like another 10 years, in my opinion. I know it sounds like a long time, but that's what I think is the smart thing to do. It's already been like 2 years since Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween. I think we're going to have to wait a whole lot longer. I would actually prefer to wait till 2024 to get that 3rd film, possibly. Even if it's not stop motion, like I'd prefer to have. But anyway, what are your thoughts on this Goosebumps news? What do you think is going on right now? Put your thoughts and comments down below. What do you want from all this? Not just what do you think is happening, but what do you want? Do you want a TV show from Netflix? Or do you want another Sony film? What do you want? Do you want a soft reboot Sony film? Like, what are you looking at as a Goosebumps fan that you want for this franchise? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I would be fine with anything that came out for the most part just to have Goosebumps out there. We don't get franchise merchandise anymore, so it's kind of null and void to even care about that. I don't know. I can't really get excited because it's like Hollywood and everybody aren't really into this. You know, if it did really well, like Stranger Things, you could make a lot of stuff. You could make a lot of backpacks and hats and all that kind of stuff for Goosebumps. It'd be like the 1990s all over again. It's not going to happen, though. It's not going to happen. So, what are your thoughts? Put them down below, guys. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this news. Hopefully, R.L. Stine can reveal more in the future, coming up soon. And, yeah. Thank you, guys. God bless you. Goodbye.